Hello everybody. So I've had a lot of requests to talk about the gunmetal changes as a whole, like where does engineer sit at this point, and like how certain weapons should be played, what loadout should I use, what is the best way I can play engineer. So I'm just going to look at the gunmetal patch notes and then sort of bring to mind what's happening, because I was going to make this video like really well edited, like the engineer bible, where it's going to have like loads of footage and text for people to read if they don't understand my very shitty accent and all this other amazing things, but time just doesn't exist. So let's just look at these things. You can pick up weapons. Picking up weapons is really good for NG, because you don't need to look at the spicicle that's fallen on the floor and be like, where the fuck is that spicicle? I need some ammo. Everyone just drops an ammo pack now, which is really useful when people are suiciding for metal. Also, I guess I'll talk about this in terms of Highlander and pubs. I guess I'll like phrase what I'm going to talk about first, but in terms of Highlander, when people suicide for metal, it's a lot easier to get the metal because it's ammo packs, and I guess that's a lot easier to understand than just picking up weapons. I have seen some few cases where picking up weapons can be kind of useful for NG. Like, I had this plan for Highlander where people would suicide for metal, but then drop like certain things. Like, for example, a soldier could suicide for metal and drop a beggar's bazooka, and then when he respawns he can have a direct hit. And then when he gets back to the front, he picks up the beggar's bazooka again to refresh its time before it like gets picked up again. And then he can just rotate between these weapons and just use them, and that could be a kind of silly strat, but I'm not sure how viable that is, whether they disappear or not. I know medics pick up mediguns when they drop now, and that's kind of an annoying thing, and I think that's been banned in a lot of tournaments. But I'm not sure what you could do with engineer. Like, maybe you could, I don't know, like see a guy setting up with a wrench and be like, hey, I'm going to help you out, I'm going to suicide for metal and drop a jag, and then you can pick up that jag and give a little hand. I don't know. In terms of pubbing on your own and not doing all this super mind gamey shit, I don't think it really changed much. Okay, inspect item, yeah, that's kind of cool. Random damage spreads off by default, yeah. Blah 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 blah, there's lots of spy stuff, don't really need to bother about that. Engineer, construction spooks wrench hits deployers is now additive. That was because before, if you had multiple engineers hitting a building while it's building, it built really fast. Like, you could build a dispenser and then have 4 engineers hit it, and it would build up in like a second, and it was like really fast. I guess this is to go with like the jag building up really quickly and just being able to deploy stuff a lot faster, which was really nice. I liked how they did this because it's like a lot of people don't use the Eureka effect because it feels really slow now, but really it just feels like how it used to feel. It's just everything is just faster by default. So it's not like the Eureka effect is slower, it's just that everything else is faster, the Eureka effect has just stayed the same. So I don't really feel it that much. I mean, when I've been running Jag a lot in pubs, I go back to Eureka effect and I'm like, but yeah, it doesn't really matter as much. You can move up stuff a lot more, so Jag has definitely hit the metagame. I think, like, in terms of pubs, you definitely see a lot more Jag. You see a lot more aggressive engineering, where you can walk up behind an enemy team and build a level 1 within a few seconds, and it's like a beefed up mini sentry. So there's a lot more metagame for that. There's also like some other strategy you can do with that, which I'll get onto next after a few of this. Teleporters and dispensers can redeploy faster, which is always nice, because at some points, like if you were playing like a 5CP and you wanted to build up a lot of teleporters, because teleporters are pretty useful, and you kept capping points, like it wasn't worth it really to have like a level 3 teleporter and then move that up. It was just faster to just demolish it and then rebuild. Well, now that like it doesn't really slow you that much to haul stuff, you can pretty much just pick up something and just carry it and just only be like slowed by like 10% or something. I think it's 10%, yeah, it's reduced from 25% to 10%. and I think you go 10% slow when you're walking backwards, so you barely feel it unless you like play a lot of scout or something and you're used to running really fast. But you can haul up buildings a lot, and that's really nice. So you can have like passive positions for your dispenser that won't get shot at, and then when you actually have full control of the point and you're pushing the next point, you can move up your dispenser even closer. And I think there should be a lot more of that in pubs, just moving your buildings around to the right situation, because a dispenser is where your team is going to stand. So if you have your dispenser near the point, you obviously want your team to hold the point, that kind of thing. So you always want to plan out where you want the enemy team to stand, so they're not in a big sight line or some bullshit like that. On wrench equip change, you no longer self-destruct your buildings. This is probably like my favourite change, because you've probably seen like Uncle Dane's video where he goes Eureka effect and jag and then back to Eureka effect to optimise the time. It doesn't really speed up that much. Like if you have suicides, it doesn't really matter, but if you're playing on like a pub or a lobby where no one knows what they're doing and you don't get any suicides, you can do that, and it's pretty cool. I kind of just like those like silly, like, it's just strats, and this gives you a lot more opportunity to like have like a level 3 teleporter and level 3 dispenser on defense on like upward. You lose your sentry on like first, but you still get your stuff up, so when you respawn you can go gunslinger and then go minis, but you've still got your level 3 dispenser and teleporter, so it doesn't hurt your team. So it gives you this more creative freedom without like screwing up your team with these important buildings that you need, which I love. They basically made it so sentries die to heavies faster, which is good, because if you've seen that video of the supposed Sigafu save that's pretty much been around for ages, but people were made aware of it because of that, is from one of the Nations Cup. I think it was America versus France. And basically you wrangle a sentry, someone's shooting at it like a heavy, literally right next to it, and you risk a ranger it, then you put the wrangle again, then you repair it, and you're just constantly tanking it because you're proccing the shield and repairing it. They nerfed the shit out of that now. So not only does it take more metal to repair, so if someone's shooting your gun and you're repairing it, you're going to run out of metal really quickly. Heavies just shred guns now, so if a heavy gets next to a gun, no point tanking that, just run away because he's gonna kill you. Just, yeah. Which I actually like, because even though I play a lot of Engineer and Highlander, I don't like just fucking staying still the whole time and just having a third hold and just like, well, time to sit here for 10 minutes and win the game very slowly. I'd rather it be very push and pull. I don't want someone to feel like they lost because of a stupid mechanic. I want to feel like they lost because they were outplayed or outfought. That kind of thing. Oh, let's see. Mini sentries were nerfed. This is something long coming, and I expected it, and quite a few people expected it. I remember when, like, I think it's Doom, like an European engineer, he's very good with mini sentries and shotgun. Whenever I go against him, I'm always kind of scared, because like I'm notably very inconsistent with my shotgun aim. I'd say I'm still good at shotgun, it's just I have on and off days, and whenever I'm against Doom, I always have an off day, because I'm just on the flank, hiding behind my minis. I then see him come around the corner, and he just demolishes me. And I remember when this patch came out, I heard news that like Doom was like, fuck it, I'm not playing this game, and then it took like about a week, and then like he was back playing again. But it was just like, the mini sentry change was long coming, but it's kind of like the Dead Ringer change, where people just adapted to playing the tanky gun spy who could just run around shooting stuff. Oh no, I got like this damage shield, I can just run away. Like, as soon as that got nerfed, people were like, fuck it, the spy is ruined, and like, not really, you were just playing it wrong. But anyway, like, mini sentries, probably not playing the game wrong, but playing it in a different way, have now been very badly hurt, you can still use it very well in Highlander. Like, it's good for if you want to just set up something quickly. Arguably, you can't actually set up a mini sentry that quickly. If you were to put down a mini and build it, it would actually be slower than if you build a gun up with the Jag, which is kind of interesting. But you can just sort of like use this on attack, on payload. I like to do it. The 150 HP is still very helpful because it lets you hopefully win fights if you can aim. But I wouldn't throw away your gunslinger, like, especially if you've got a strange one designed for killing scouts on Harvest. Keep doing that. You're probably going to heaven. Probably. So, with mini sentries being a lot weaker, they can go down a lot quicker if people actually see you place them, which makes more sense, because the thing before was you could kind of run into a fight, plop down a mini, and then shoot someone, and you basically just pulled their focus, like, do I shoot the NG, or do I shoot the gun? And they shot the gun, and the gun had seemingly infinite health because it was regenning as it was spawning. But then if you shoot the NG, the gun will then build and then kill you, and it was just like, it was a horrible situation to be in. So now you can just fucking shoot a gun and it's made of paper towels. You can repair the gun, which is okay, because repairing the gun only costs about 40 metal, I think. And I'd actually say it's kind of worth it, because like, you put down a mini preemptively into a fight, you go and fight a scout, he then puts down a lot of damage on your mini, but it survives. Like, before it was like, if your mini got hurt because you couldn't repair it, and it was low on ammo, it was just more efficient to just destroy it and then like rebuild another one, because it cost a lot of metal to give it ammo and you couldn't even repair it anyway, so there was no sense keeping a low health mini around. But now that you can like give it ammo and give it health in like one punch, because it's just like any other building, you can just sort of like, oh, you got one mini and survived, only costs like 40 metal, so you're saving about 60 metal and you've got one up. I would also recommend that if you are playing more mini-sentry playstyle, because your minis are weaker, every time you engage in a fight, just move your gun a bit. Like, move it around to a different corner, move it to the left side instead of the right side. Just move it, like, a little bit to the side, so the soldier will come around the corner like, I'm gonna fucking kill that gun right now, I've got a dart hit, I've got fucking Contra, I'm gonna kill this guy. He shoots, he fucking misses because it's a little bit to the left and you kill him. Actually, you probably don't kill him, but he's still mad. The Thompson 6000. So Thompson got nerfed, which I'm fucking happy for. But it still has drains. Like, why? Like, when it came out, it had penetration, it had a massive hitbox, and it had drains. And I liked it, kind of, because it was like the Righteous Bison. I could just go pew pew, shoot down chokes, and then do lots of damage to people. Then they were like, oh, people think this thing's OP. Let's get rid of penetration. And we're like, no, get rid of the drains. Like, the drain is the most annoying thing about it. Just like, oh yeah, people still think it's OP. Let's get rid of the hitbox. No, the fucking drains. I just want these drains removed. And I've nerfed it again. Kept the drains. They want these drains. Like, no one wants them. Like, if, like, I'm kind of okay if it has, like, a spy drain. If it's, like, just minor. But the medic drain is just bullshit. Like, take that thing away. Like, ideally, I want the Thompson to be a Righteous Bison for NG that maybe does a little bit more damage. Kind of like the scattergun and the shotgun. The scattergun is like, I think it's 10% more damage than the shotgun, or it just has like a little bit different spread, so it's better for meat shots. I don't know. But they're basically the same weapon. Just make the Thompson a better Righteous Bison. Or if you want to keep it as like a kind of drainy weapon, get rid of the drains and make it like ignite on hit for 1 second. So you can like, if you want to be a spy checker, you can shoot a corner, hit a spy, he lights up for a second, then the flame disappears and then you know where he is. And then a spy can be like, ha, I'm going to block up the spicicle. Great, you blocked 1 second of flame. Now you don't have a knife for 15 seconds. Good job. But yeah, like, just give it counterplay, don't make it some bullshit drain thing. Either way, I think I've, like, in ETF2L Highlander, that's like the European Highlander, they've allowed the Thompson and the short circuit. You can use those weapons. You can also still use the loose cannon, and the, the Beggar's Bazooka. Good choice, ETF2 admins. You know what you're doing. Maybe. Probably. I don't know. Previous season they like allowed the lock and load, the pre-nerf lock and load, which you know, could like hit you for 120 damage across the map. It was like fucking. But the thing is, when they allowed that lock and load, it was annoying, especially as an NG player, because you would try and like repair your building, and then you just get killed by the splash. You get your sentry would get two-pilled, it would survive, but you die in the process unless you were using Rescue Ranger. So that was more frustrating. But the thing is, when people were using that loose cannon, the lock and load, people were still using the loose cannon. Because the loose cannon is better than the lock and load, because lock and load can hit you for 120 per shot, but loose cannon can potentially hit you for 140 damage per shot if you double donk it, which is kind of a skillful thing to do, but it's not that difficult. Like, people say that it's like balanced by the skill, but when you're playing like a high division, you're going to be facing demos who are going to be double donking you every single shot. And then it just feels like it rewards the skill way too much. It's just like, eh. It's like if a sniper rifle got like the ability to, every time you headshot someone, it immediately like, oh wait, no, that's the Hitman Hitmaker, sorry. But no one uses that. Wait, isn't Hitman Hitmaker banned? Yeah, that's probably why. But anyway, back to the Thompson short circuit nonsense thing. I might actually skip the Wrangler here and go to short circuit after I do this. But the Thompson has like a range now. Like, you can't just spam a choke from a mile away and drain a medic. You have to be in mid to close range, and it does sort of like slowly drain off. So if you hit someone at max mid range, it only drains the medic for like 1% or something. So there is kind of a use for it, and that's for the like when everyone's sacking for medic to like at the start of the round. Like, let's set up a scenario. Upward. Attack, defense. You're on attack. Both your medics have full charge. You're gonna go for the Uber exchange. So everyone goes to sack for the medic. The soldier goes for a bomb. The demo goes for a bomb. The scout tries to and dies by the sentry. The spy goes for a pick. The sniper looks into a wall, waiting for a guy to go around the corner. What does the NG do? He kind of just sits on the cart, kind of. So now NG can kind of get in a position where he can be near a medic, tag him with one shot of the Thompson. Suddenly the medic hasn't got full Uber, he's got 90%. Now everyone could just fucking throw themselves onto the medic and then either kill him or force the enemy team to back out to prevent the medic from dying. So now you can actually suicide for medic as an NG. You just need to tag him once. He's suddenly haven't got full Uber. He's like, fuck. Everyone's like flying for him, and he's probably gonna drop. Like, that's going to be some bullshit. I'm waiting for them to just change their mind and immediately ban Thompson and short circuit. But yeah, on to the short circuit. So the short circuit projectile destruction has been moved to alt fire at the cost of 15 metal per shot. There is a 0.5 second cooldown between attempts and refire. Cannot pick up buildings while short circuit is deployed. The can't pick up buildings isn't like a downside. It's pretty much you're using your alt fire to zap, so you can't use your alt fire to pick up. That's pretty much it. Basically, what they've done is they turned short circuit into a flamethrower, and not in terms of damage, but in terms of mechanics. The left fire, the primary fire, or depends if you're doing left-handed, right-handed mouse. I'm going to assume right-handed mouse. So left mouse button is going to be zap, 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 zap. It's very short range. It does minimal damage. I've tested this, and you can pretty much hold down like primary fire if you have 200 metal for like 7 seconds until it runs out. So it has a long time, but it does very little damage. Pretty much like the pistol. So it's like a close range pistol, and you can just run it going bap, 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 and use it to finish someone off, or just poke them, or just do something while you're trying to zap. The alt fire is like an air blast. It pretty much has the same timings as an air blast too. The thing is though, it's very, very temperamental. Like, I've seen a lot of people call this OP. I've seen like High GPS's video where he says it's OP, and I'm looking at his videos and it's like, yeah, I can see that being OP, but then whenever I've used it, I'm like, this is shit. Like, I guess I need to use it more, because I've definitely seen some NGs use it to great effect, but there must be certain conditions of how you use it, because with an air blast, you kind of look facing the kind of thing, like, you don't even need to be looking at it, and then you right click, and then it sort of like flies off your cursor. But I feel like you need to actually be looking at the projectile, or the patch of stickies or whatever, before you zap, because I've had like some just come at me at the side, I zap, and it doesn't do anything. Maybe it's to do with a lag thing, but I definitely feel like the short circuit has got a lot shorter range. It also, I think, does damage on the right alternate fire too. So I guess you can kind of cheese out like a soldier by like zapping him with the primary fire and the ultimate fire to just like zap his rockets. But yeah, I used the short circuit in Highlander before it was considered good. Like the old short circuit, it cost 35 metal to zap. It was very slow. It was like zap, zap, zap. It was like a bit slower air blast. It was actually quite slow because like if a soldier was spamming rockets, he would spam slightly faster than you, so if he would just hold down the button, he would go out of time with you and eventually kill you, which was kind of annoying, and that's probably why people didn't use it. It also cost a lot of metal. But I used it because I had a specific purpose for it. Now, when you're dealing with sticky bombs as a pyro, you don't really get rid of them, because if there's a rocket or a pill coming towards you, you can deflect it away and then it'll explode. But with a sticky bomb, it'll fly towards you, deflect it, and then you wouldn't really deflect it very far. It would land, but then the demo can still like demolish it. So like, pyros didn't really go for air blasting stickies as much, because the demo man could still control it and just blow it up by the time the pyro gets close to it. So in Highlander, when they were playing King of the Hill maps like Viaduct, Lakeside, Warmtic, what's it called? Arctic? Why the fuck they call it Warmtic? Just call it Tropic. Those kinds of like maps, those King of the Hill maps, where you run a crits demo, they usually charge up a stick, crits, and fire it over at the medic and drop him before they can pop. Now, I can just stand by the medic and just wait for the crit sticky to come over and just zap it. I remember playing like some silver scrims, it was like maybe 3 years ago or something, I don't know, but like I was playing with the short circuit and no one really knew like what it did because they didn't see anyone use it, because it's just a shitty engineer weapon. And I had like messages from the demo saying he called to his team, medic down, and then they were like, no he didn't, he died, and it was because he got no communication that his sticky like destroyed. He was like charging up sticky, boo, medic down. Wait, did I kill him? What? just the sticky disappeared. He right clicked and nothing happened. So like, then I saw other people start to use it. I don't know if I like did this strat or if other people just caught on from other people, but this strat was kind of good. You could just sit by the medic when they're the crit screen and just zap all the sticks. And then they buffed it, and then they banned it because it was buffed and it was good. And I think when they buffed it, they also buffed the damage, so it was literally a flamethrower, so you could do bah! And just destroy people. So now to short circuit now, that's kind of good, kind of considered OP, considered I don't know. TF2 decided they're going to allow short circuit. Now, I think this is a pretty bad decision. Then again, they allowed the Beggar's Bazooka and the Loose Cannon, which is also a bad decision, and short circuit kind of lets you fight against that. So, I mean, hell, I'll go with it. But I feel like once they see a bunch of the officials when people are using the short circuit, they're going to realise what they did and they're going to ban it. And I really hope they do. Because, okay, not only can you do the pocket short circuit strat that I've also seen a lot of people use in high scrims or plat scrims, because you can just go zap, 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 zap like an air blast and just fucking can't say zap. But you can just sort of go quick fix into Kritzkrieg, in which Kritzkrieg is meant to counter quick fix. But you just quick fix the engineer, who then runs forward with a short circuit, going bah, 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 and the demo can't do anything because he's just wind bombing you, and all the stickies are disappearing. So now I've started seeing people go crits Tomislav, also known as the laser beams, where they just go onto point and aim that like tight cone of bullets with loads of crit damage and just hit people. So I do kind of like how this introduction of the short circuit has kind of changed the meta. That's always nice to see. But I don't know, like affecting the demo in that way, like even though Demo Man's kind of a scumbag in the fact that he does so much damage, anything that hurts the demo kind of hurts the game, really, because he's kind of the center of the battlefield, really. So once the Demo Man mains see this, they're gonna be like, fucking burn this shit. Also, another thing I'd like to bring up is the defensive capabilities of Short Circuit. Not only using it on like payload attack, where you can still get metal while you're zapping with the Short Circuit, so you can, you know, sit on the payload, keep zapping. You can just sit on the payload, and if a soldier or a demo tries to intervene, you're just zapping sticks. You can also use it on defense. You can go level 3s with your Jag, Rescue Ranger, and then Short Circuit. And I've had multiple messages from people during their high scrims saying that they were unable to push upward first because the soldier in the demo couldn't take out the sentry because an engineer was sitting next to it short-circuiting. It's just this crazy thing where an engineer can just be like, actually no, you're not going to take out my sentry, and the game just grinds to a halt. And while it's fun to see that an engineer is getting a lot of this power, I still think engineer is kind of a broken class in that it has that power to slow down the game, and it is a game that's meant to be for fun, so if the class can do that, just fucking ban it, please. Just like, yeah. And one more thing I'd like to bring up is... oh wait, no. Oh, also on Upward Last, where you're building your sentry in the balcony, like the usual spot next to the boxes, a heavy can't really get close enough to shoot you unless he's using the Tomislav. So one of the strats I see is demos coming from the underneath and then spamming sticks up onto the NG and then kill him. Yeah, you can't do that anymore because the engineer can just keep zapping your stickies. So unless he gets coordinatedly like attacked by a heavy and a demo, it's not going to go down, in which that could happen in low divisions, but in high divisions I say to my team, hey, I'm going to run Short Circuit. They're like, great. They're not going to push, so we just work together. So, yeah. The other thing is running Short Circuit on the flank, which is kind of making my roaming soldier in Highlander consider quitting Highlander, because he's, like, as a lot of roaming soldiers, you run Contra or gunboats. You don't run shotgun. You run, like, black box. You just run a rocket launcher and then a passive secondary. So then you go on the flank, and then there's an engineer just zapping all your rockets, so you can't do anything. So it's just like, fuck it. So maybe soldiers are going to run the Liberty Launcher shotgun, the pocket shotgun, whatever thing, because Liberty Launcher lets you rocket jump more, and you can use that with the shotgun. I don't know, you can use it with the Righteous Bison. I don't think soldier mains will do that. Soldier mains kind of just like doing the same thing over and over again. So, yeah, it's better just ban Short Circuit, please. Okay, let's go on to the Wrangler. So Wrangler, they nerfed it for the Sigfusay thing, so when you're wrangling, you, as well as taking 66% reduced damage, your repairs are reduced by 66%. So it's basically like you're repairing it as if it's just not being wrangled. You're just doing it for the damage resist. If you try and tank it while it's wrangled, it's going to be as effective as them trying to kill it. So it will eventually go down. And that's kind of okay, because I honestly prefer if Wrangler didn't have a shield, that you could just use it to shoot people. I would actually really prefer if the accuracy was better, but it's really hard to do that because you're aiming a server-side gun at a client-side thing using client-side, and it's fucking... that's why it has auto-aim, because if it didn't, it would never hit anything. They also made it so if you kill an engineer with a Wrangler out, the sentry is disabled, which I'm totally fine with, because it means you can see an NG with the Wrangler, stab him as a spy, and then have plenty of time to get rid of the gun. Eureka effect. Previous penalties are removed and replaced with the following. Construction hit speed decreased by 50%, 50% less metal from pickups and dispensers. I've already talked about Eureka effect in a previous video, but basically Eureka effect, it builds at the same rate as you're used to. Just everything else builds faster, so it's not like it builds really slower. It kind of does, if you're playing a lot of Jag. It's good if you're doing the fucking, like, rolling back to spawn and then building. Basically, the downside is you go to a 200 metal pack, you get 100, you go to a 100 metal pack, you get, like, 50, you go to, like, a small pack, you get, like, 20. Like, you get very little metal now from packs, but you don't need to, because you just find a spot, you're like, oh, this is a nice spot on the beach for me to build a gun. Just put down the teleporter exit, build it, teleport back to spawn, go to a cabinet, get some metal, teleport back to your exit, and then build, and then rinse and repeat. They did, however, nerf the Eureka effect in between that time, because before you could just teleport back to spawn, get metal, and then teleport back. But now when you teleport back to spawn, it doesn't immediately refresh your ammo and health. You have to go and touch a cabinet. So it does hurt your time a little bit, but it's not really too much. I think the reason why they did this is because of arena mode. Because arena mode, you could go build a sentry and then teleport back to spawn with full metal and full health, in which you shouldn't be able to because it's arena mode. So you could kind of go into arena mode with a level 3 sentry at spawn and just stall out the game, and that's not really fun, is it? And finally on the changes, the jag. Okay, so the jag actually builds stuff faster instead of lying to you. It also swings faster, which is kind of bullshit, and it does less damage, and it has a 20% repair penalty, which people insist is a downside. It isn't. It isn't a downside at all. It basically counters the swing speed, so it's basically just repairing as much as the wrench, maybe a little bit less, but negligible. So that downside is just there to balance it. It isn't actually a downside. The downside is it does less damage, but no one cares because you're going to have a hell of a crit chance on it anyway. You're going to swing faster, and you've got a shotgun. So you can build stuff faster, you can put down a level 1 sentry and use that as a mini sentry essentially. You can build up your gear really quick. I think you can build a level 3 sentry within 20 seconds from like just placing one down and upgrading it, as long as you have like a dispenser next to you, which is pretty huge. Some strats that I've picked up from just playing with this a lot on pubs and whatever is, if, for example, an enemy team pushes into you, kills your sentry, you manage to run away, but doesn't kill your dispenser, just go back and build your gun again. Before it took forever to build your gun, but now it's like so quick to do it that you can literally be like, oh, you didn't kill the nest and didn't kill all the eggs. Well, this infestation is going to come back, and you just fucking walk in, build a gun, just sit on your plod and just fucking build up a gun really quick. It's kind of funny because like I did this in a lobby, like a demo pushed in, killed my gun. I got out because I got flashed from the medic. I fucking love it when medics do that. Then the Uber ran out and the demo ran out, and I bet they were in chat going, "Sentry down, guys! Let's all get on the cart." They got on the cart, they pushed it around the corner, everyone died because the sentry was back and they didn't kill the dispenser. So yeah, if you're an engineer, just the best thing you can do when a guy kills your gun is just build it again. And it didn't actually say it on here, did it? No. But Rescue Ranger was changed, so instead of it costing 130 metal to haul something, it costs 100 metal, which is great because it means that instead of rocket hauling and costing a lot of your health and trying to C-tap and failing to do that because you don't want to use a script, you can just jump, haul your gun, place it down, and place a dispenser, or just haul up your previous dispenser. So it makes being aggressive with rocket jumping and moving up your guns much more viable and generally escaping. It also is nice because you don't always have to keep your eyes on having 130 metal if you want to get out of there. It's just 100 metal, you can pick up one little pack, you can kill somebody, pick up their ammo and be like, ah, there we go, I can save my gun now. Okay, I think I've gone over all the actual changes here. There's probably like some loadouts and playstyles and other things that are changing, but I guess I'll do that at a later point. I'm kind of just trying to go through this kind of quickly. So hopefully this has been interesting. Hopefully you found this coherent. Hopefully you've listened to this while you're playing another game, because that's what I do. I mean, why the fuck would you watch a video when you could listen to it? Maybe I should just make a podcast. I don't know. I'm just gonna bye.